Good evening, all the joinees. Thank you for joining in. Hi, this is Ashi. Welcome to the webinar conducted by NGEN Research. Meanwhile, others join in, let us have a look at today's topic. So today we'll be looking at what are the multiple ways in which you can onboard your existing client or your prospective client onto the platform. Then we'll move on to analysis part of the same, wherein we'll be looking at portfolio's performance versus to that of the benchmark. Additionally, we'll try to understand contribution and drawdown analysis. Lastly, the forum will be open for a Q&A session. I would humbly request everyone to kindly keep the question related to the topic. If the question is not related to the same, you can put your number in the chat box. The team will get in touch with you right after the webinar. We would really appreciate your understanding. So now let's get started. There are multiple ways in which you can onboard your existing client as well as your prospective client's portfolio on NGEN Markets using the clients section. Now this is the landing page of the client section. The very first method of onboarding the client is through RTA connection. Now through RTA connection, you can onboard all of your existing clients onto the platform using your ARN or RIA code. Now, there is no limitation. You can onboard single or multiple ARN or RIA code, and you can also find a consolidated view for the same. This will be a default view for the client section that is specifically for the RTA connection. Now, this is done by applying certain filters and forwards onto your registered mail ID. The data that we capture is CAMS data WBR4 and CARBI data MFSD 203. Once the setup is done, your clients will be visible onto the left-hand side. Now, let's say you want to check which all clients are holding basis a particular security name. You can simply search for it under the client holding search. Meaning, I want to know which all clients are holding DSP small cap fund in its portfolio. I'll simply search for it right here and select. Once this is done, you would be able to see that there are 4 columns. First column basically contains the name of the client that are holding a particular security in its portfolio. The second column is about the AUM. The third column is about holding in terms of amount. And the last column is about holding in terms of percentage. Now here we can see that there is one client named as Anurag Khatri that is holding DSP small cap fund in its portfolio. The AUM of this particular client is about 3 CR, and out of this 3 CR, he has put about 49 lakh towards DSP small cap fund. When we see it in terms of percentage, we can see that he is holding 16% of DSP small cap fund in its portfolio. At the right hand side, you can see a bar chart representation, which basically represents top 5 mutual fund exposure. For example, here we can see that iPro Value Fund has about 8.48 CR invested towards it. Now, once you click on this particular blue bar, you will be able to see a further bifurcation for the same, meaning what all clients are holding iPro Value Fund in its portfolio. Similarly, again, the AUM-wise information, and additionally, you can find holdings in terms of amount and holdings in terms of percentage for this particular fund, which is iPro Value Fund. At the bottom, you can see that there are 2 pie charts representing the asset class-wise bifurcation as well as AMC-wise exposure for the same. You can definitely read it for any of the ARN that is onboarded onto the platform. Now, if I check for asset class, we can see that equity has the highest exposure, that is to an extent of 39.56%. Similarly, in terms of AMC, you can simply hover on any of the pie and see what is the exposure towards a particular AMC. This is the top AMC exposure. So if we check for iPro mutual fund, it is about 15.6, which is higher in comparison to the other AMCs. Now, to run the analysis on any of the clients that have been onboarded using the RTA connection, you can simply click on the name of the client. This will load a brief analysis. Now, let's say you want to run a detailed portfolio analysis for the same. You can simply click on Run Analytics as an option. Now, as soon as you click on Run Analytics, a detailed portfolio analysis will start getting loaded. Now, this is one method wherein you can onboard your existing client. The next method that we would be looking upon would be a manual method. Now, this option is right beside RTA connection as an option. Now, as soon as you click on manual data, here you would be required to feeding in the information manually basis the mutual funds as well as the stocks. Now to do so, you simply have to click on add client as an option. Now as soon as you click on add client, you will see a window is opening up with certain options right here. In add single client, the option that you would be required to choose would be add manually. Now as soon as you do so, you would see that there is a window that is opened up, and here you can start inputting the relevant information that is required. Now let's say for example you would input the name of your client, so I'll just quickly input a name and then I'll simply click on add client. Now as soon as I click on add client, here you can now start searching for the funds as well as the stocks that are there in the client's portfolio. So for funds, I'll be searching Kotak small cap fund for example. And let's take one more fund, which would be HDFC large cap. And not only funds, like I mentioned, you can also input information related to the stocks as well. Now in stocks, I'll pick up NTPC and let's add one more. So that would be Cochin Shipyard. Now, once this is done, you would then be required to input any one of the information related to units or shares, or it can be basis the current value. Now, let's take, for example, if I input unit-wise information for the share for the funds that are there in the client's portfolio, it will automatically capture the current value. So let's say if I input 100 as units for Kotak, you will see that as soon as I click outside the box, it will automatically capture the current value basis the NAV. Similarly, if I input value-wise information for HDFC large cap fund, let's say 2,50,000, it will automatically pick up the unit-wise information right here. Similarly, you can either input share-wise information for the particular stock, or you can input value-wise information as well. For example, for NTPC, let me enter 50, and you would see that automatically the current value is something that is getting captured by the platform. And similarly, if I input value-wise information, it will automatically pick up the share-wise information for this particular stock. Now, once our portfolio is prepared, we'll simply click on Done as an option. And again, you would be able to see that there is a brief analysis that's get loaded onto the platform. Now, again, to run a detailed portfolio analysis, you can simply click on Run Analytics as an option. So the portfolio that you have manually prepared is now running in detail, wherein you can see how did this portfolio do versus to that of the benchmark, including various other parameters as well. Now we'll try to understand statement analyzer option that is available onto the platform. Now let's say your client has an ECAS statement. In that situation, you can use statement analyzer as an option, which is on the top right hand side. Once you click on statement analyzer, you will see a window that is getting opened up right here. Now, the file that you're required to upload in the statement analyzer should be NSDL, CDSL, or CAMS ECAS statement, and you have to ensure that it is in the PDF format. Please ensure that there is no modification done to it, meaning it should be an original ECAS file which you will directly receive from your client. Now to upload the file onto the platform, what you can do is you have to first click on choose file as an option and select the file that you wish to upload. And then you would be required to input the password, which is the PAN number. And once this is done, you then click on check file as an option. As soon as you click on check file, you would see that there is a prompt stating that it is a recognized file type. Once you see this prompt, you can then go ahead and input a label for the same. Now let's say this is a client who is a June prospect. So you can simply input June prospect right here. And then you can simply click on process and save file. Now, as soon as you do this, you would be able to see the information onto the right-hand side. That is the file that has been uploaded. So you can see the name of the client, the label that you have applied, as well as the date and the time as to when this particular file was uploaded. Now, let's say you want to view the report for the same, that is, what is the holdings in terms of mutual fund, as well as what is the holding in terms of stocks. You can simply click on this report icon right here. As soon as you do so, the ECAS statement will read both the mutual funds as well as the stocks. Now, let's say you want to run a detailed portfolio analysis for the ECAS statement that you have uploaded. In that case, we'll move back to the NGEN Markets platform, and then we'll move towards the Portfolios tab, which is the second last tab onto the platform. Now, as soon as you come towards the Portfolios tab, you would then be required to click on the plus icon which states Add a new portfolio. Once you click on this plus icon, you will come across the same option, that is Load Statement Analyzer. Now, Statement Analyzer was the exact option that we have selected in order to upload the ECAS statement. Now, once you hit on Load Statement Analyzer, you will see a window that is getting opened up. Now, right beside the name of the client or the label that you have applied, you would see that there's a plus icon. Now, as soon as you click on this plus icon, you would be able to see that both mutual funds and in case if there is stocks in the client's ECAS statement, both of these will get captured in this particular tab. Automatically, the system will pick up the name of the client, but let's say you want to edit it, you can definitely do that. So let's say if I give this a name as ECAS June. Once this is done, you can then click on create so that this portfolio or the ECAS that you have uploaded, wherein you would be running an analysis for the same, gets saved in your login. Or you can simply click on run without saving it, and it will run a detailed portfolio analysis basis the ECAS statement that you have uploaded. Now let us try to understand the fourth method of onboarding, assuming that one of your prospective client is not willing to share his or her CAS statement, but instead they are willing to share an Excel which has detail related to fund, that is majorly ISIN and the holding information. In this particular scenario, what you can do is in the portfolio section itself, you would be required to hit on this plus icon again. So the same procedure that we used for the statement analyzer. You click on this plus icon, and now this time you will choose option called Load ISIN from Excel. Now, as soon as you click on it, you will see a window getting opened up. Now here you're required to paste two pieces of information that you would be copying from the Excel. First would be ISIN, the first column, and second column would be holdings. Now this holding can either be in terms of percentage or in terms of amount, or it can be in terms of units and shares. So let me show you how you can do this. So I have sample ISIN loaded right here, wherein not only I have the name of the funds, I also have its ISIN present right beside it, as well as information basis the units. I will simply copy these two columns, which is ISIN and the holding information, and then I will simply paste it in the gray section right here. Now, once this is done, I will then let the system know the readings of the holdings. Since I have pasted the second column, that is holding wise column, in terms of units, I will change this from amount to units. Once this is done, I will then click on validate input. And here you can see the name of the funds against which is the allocation percentage that is mentioned. Now I will quickly give this portfolio a name. So I'll give this a name as June portfolio. And then I'll click on create so that this particular portfolio gets saved in my login. And then I will simply hit on run for a detailed portfolio analysis. Now, just to summarize the four methods that we have looked upon, in the client section, the first method that we came across was the RTA connection tab, wherein all of your existing clients gets onboarded using ARN or RIA code. The second method that we had looked upon was the manual data tab, wherein you can input the information manually by searching for the name of the funds as well as the stocks against which you can input the information related to unit shares or in terms of value. The third way of onboarding the client's portfolio was using statement analyzer as an option, wherein you can upload your client's NSDL, CDSL, or CAMS ECAS statement and run a detailed portfolio analysis for the same. And the last method that we had looked upon was ISIN upload facility, wherein you would be required to copy and paste two columns. First column would be ISIN and second column would be holdings, which can be either in terms of percentage or in terms of amount, or it can be in terms of units and shares. Now let us start with the detailed portfolio analysis. Now, as soon as the portfolio analysis starts running, the first thing that you would be able to see is what all other items or schemes that are there in the client's portfolio. In the second box, you would be able to see that there is an option called start and end date, wherein you have complete flexibility to input any start or end date basis the analysis that you want to run. Now, let's say I want to run a detailed portfolio analysis for the period of past 5 years. In that case, I can click on this change option, wherein I can custom my own start date or I can select from the given option that are already available. So let's say if I click on 5 years ago, and now you can see that the start date is from June 2020. Now, as soon as you change the start date, the first tab that will open up would be the performance analysis. Within this performance analysis, the first thing that you would be able to see is a graphical representation. In this graphical representation, the blue line represents our portfolio, whereas the black line represents the index. Now, currently, the index that is being selected is reference index 1. Now, what exactly is reference index? Reference index are a ready-made benchmark which gets automatically picked up by the system basis the asset allocation. Now, to check the component of the reference index that is being picked up, you can use the benchmark section that is on the top right-hand side. Within this engine subtab, you would be able to see that there is a search column right here. Once you click on the search bar, you would be able to see the reference index and the component within it. So we can see for reference index 1, it is 100% Nifty TRI that is being picked up. Our platform provides you complete flexibility in choosing your benchmark. Also, you can custom your own benchmark for that matter. In that case, we have this custom section right here, right beside the engine tab. Now, as soon as you click on custom, the second option that you would see here is manage custom indices. Now, as soon as you click on manage custom indices, you can select the benchmark that you feel are relevant. So for example, if I pick up Nifty 100 and then I'll click on add index, and similarly, I'll pick up one more index. So let's say it is Nifty 50 and then I'll again hit on add index. Once this is done, I will give it a percentage wise allocation. So I'll give this 50 each. Now, once ensuring that the allocation is coming up to 100, you would then be required to give it a name. Now, once you give it a name, then you just have to simply click on Save Custom Index. As soon as you click on Save Custom Index, this particular benchmark will be visible under the Custom tab. So you can anytime change from the index that is being automatically picked up by the system to the custom-made benchmark of your choice. Now let us try to look at certain parameters. The first thing that you would be able to see in the portfolio analysis is the cumulative return, or which is also known as absolute or point-to-point return. Now here under portfolio, you can see that this particular portfolio has generated a cumulative return of 234%, whereas benchmark has generated a cumulative return of 162.7%. We can clearly see that the portfolio has generated higher and better cumulative return in comparison to that of the benchmark. The second parameter that you can look upon is the CAGR. In terms of CAGR, we can again clearly see that the portfolio has a CAGR of about 27% against the benchmark generating a CAGR of about 21%. Similarly, we have annual volatility present right here, which is a measure of standard deviation, wherein we can clearly see that the benchmark is having a volatility of about 14%, whereas our portfolio is having a volatility of about 13%. So with a lesser volatility, this particular portfolio is able to generate a higher cumulative return. That is something which is also visible in the Sharpe ratio as well. So Sharpe ratio is risk adjusted return, indicating how well the portfolio is doing in terms of generating return in comparison to the risk that is being taken. So again, we can clearly see that the portfolio has a better Sharpe ratio in comparison to that of the benchmark. The second piece of information that you can look upon is cumulative excess on benchmark. In simple terms, this is the alpha that is being generated by the portfolio. So we can see the alpha for the portfolio is about 72%. How did we derive to the 72%? It is simply a subtraction of cumulative return generated by the portfolio with that of the benchmark. Also, in the portfolio section itself, we have two very important ratios. First being up capture ratio and second being down capture ratio. Now, up capture ratio talks about how the fund was doing when the market was in bull run. Here we can clearly see that the portfolio is having an up capture of 111.38. Now, assuming that the benchmark was having an up capture of 100, It simply means that when the benchmark was up by 10%, this particular portfolio was up by 11.1%. You can simply click on this I button to get a month-on-month bifurcation, wherein please note, only those months would be taken under consideration wherein the benchmark was generating positive return, irrespective of the portfolio generating either positive or negative return. And on top, you can see what is the overall return generated by the portfolio and the benchmark. Now, exactly opposite to this up capture ratio would be down capture ratio. This talks about how the fund was doing when the market was in bear. And here we can clearly see that the down capture ratio of the portfolio is about 82.48. Now, again, considering that the benchmark was having a down capture of 100, it simply means that when the benchmark was down by 10%, our particular portfolio was down by 8.2%. Again, you can simply click on this I button to get a month-on-month bifurcation, wherein only those months would be taken under consideration when the benchmark was generating negative return, irrespective of the portfolio generating either negative or positive return. And you can see the overall return generated by the portfolio and the benchmark during the bear run. So just to conclude, up capture ratio, if it is more than 100, it is considered to be a good sign. Whereas if the down capture ratio is less than 100, again, that is also considered to be a good sign. After this, we would be looking upon monthly statistics. Now, this is purely basis the start date and end date that you have picked up. Now, here we can clearly see the start date of this particular portfolio is from June 2020 till June 2025. So, total 61 months are under consideration. Out of 61 months, 44 were such months wherein the portfolio was up, meaning it was generating returns in positive. And out of this 61 months, 17 were such months wherein the portfolio was down, meaning it was generating returns in negative. So while it was up, meaning in this 44-month time period, the best return that it has generated was about 11.6%, whereas the worst return was about 0.1%. And again, when it was down, wherein it was generating negative returns, the minimum that it went down by was about negative 0.45%, whereas the maximum negative return generated was about 6.73%. All of the data that you see here, you can also plot this onto the chart and see in which particular month was the best and the worst performance registered. So we can clearly see, you can also drag this for a better view. We can see it was in the month of November and the year 2020, wherein the best performance of 11.68 was registered by this particular portfolio. Whereas the worst performance was in the month of February 2025, wherein the worst return, which was about negative 6.73, was generated by this particular portfolio. You can similarly find the analysis on yearly level as well, wherein through this bar chart, we can clearly see that the best performance was in the year 2021, wherein 38% return was generated. And the worst performance was in the year 2022, wherein though positive, but 10.36% was the return that was generated. Now, next thing that we would be looking upon in the portfolio analysis would be this contribution tab. Now, contribution tab talks about how each of the components were contributing towards overall portfolio. The first column that you would see here is basis the components. That is, what is the mutual funds or stocks that a particular client is holding in its portfolio. The second piece of information is about total returns. That is the absolute return generated by the fund between a specific start date and end date. The next column is about the weight, which tells us what is the weightage given to all of these components in the client's portfolio. And the fourth and the last column is about the contribution out of 100, which means if 100 rupees is the return, how much is the contribution done by each of these funds to achieve that 100 rupees. Now here we can see that there is one fund, which is IPRU Large and Mid Cap Fund, which has a total return of 258%. And out of this, we can see that out of 100, this particular portfolio or this particular fund was able to contribute 62.92%. This is with the weightage of 58.28%. The last column that you see right here is also presented in terms of bar chart as well. Now, mainly what this particular tab helps you to understand is how each of the components are contributing. So let's say if you find that there is any particular fund that is doing really well, but the weightage given to is not justified, you can definitely increase the allocation percentage towards that particular fund. Whereas if you see that there is any component in the client's portfolio that is not doing very well, you can definitely have a take in it wherein you can either reduce the allocation percentage given to that particular fund, or you can definitely get rid of it completely. Now, as you scroll down, we can also see there is a graphical representation. Now, currently, this is for iPro large and mid cap fund, but let's say I want to check it for other fund. For example, I want to check for quant mid cap fund. I simply have to locate the bar chart right here and have to click on it. Now, as soon as you click on it, you would see that quant mid cap funds analysis is something that gets loaded right here. Now, this particular fund has generated a return of about 294.24%, whereas the total return of the portfolio is about 234.96%. Meaning, if this fund alone would have been the part of my portfolio, it would have still performed better with a return of about 29.4%. The allocation given to this particular fund in the portfolio is about 5.57%, which you can again take a call if you want to increase the allocation percentage, keep it same, or whether you want to reduce it. Now, the next thing that we would be looking upon in the portfolio analysis would be the drawdowns tab. Now, drawdowns basically talks about the strength of the fund to recover from its losses. Now, here you can find the details of top 10 worst drawdown that a particular portfolio was facing. Now, here we can see that there was a loss of 13% for this particular portfolio, which was between 17th Jan 2022 till 20th June 2022, wherein the fall in the NAV was about 192 to 165. It stayed in this particular loss of 13% for over 154 days. And it took 41 days to recover from this particular loss again, which is of 13%, which it finally recovered on 16th of August 2022. Similarly, there are certain ongoing corrections which is also highlighted in the platform. Also, you can find a graphical representation wherein the gray section talks about the loss period and the white section talks about the recovery phase. All of the data that you see here in the portfolio analysis can be taken in few of the reporting options that are available onto the platform. First is PDF. So once you click on this PDF report, you then hit on create PDF as an option, and quickly a PDF report gets downloaded. All of the PDF that you see onto the platform or the PPTs, majorly the reporting option will come up with co-branding on the top left-hand side. So this is the PDF report wherein you can see the performance analysis, the yearly analysis, holding wise information, exposure, asset allocation, AMC wise exposure, what is the split in terms of large, mid, small, and others, sector wise exposure. If there are any debt component in the client's portfolio, the analysis for the same would show up right here. We have rolling wise information as well as the drawdown, wherein the last page is the disclaimer. So this is one of the reporting option. You can also download a PPT as a reporting option. As per the latest update, you can customize it accordingly. Let's say if you do not want to show something, you can definitely uncheck, and these PPTs or slides will not show up in the PPT as a reporting option. Also, you can generate an amount-wise PowerPoint as well. Let's say you want to check the bifurcation of 10 lakh. You simply input the 10 lakh right here, click on create PPT as an option, and quickly a PPT report gets downloaded. So this is how the report will basically look like. So PPTs onto the platform can be customized as per the requirement. And again, it will also come up with co-branding. So on all of the slides on top left, you would be able to see your company name and logo. First page is holding wise information, exposure wise information, asset allocation, split in terms of large, mid, small, and others, some statistics wise information, sector wise exposure, risk versus return scatter plot, performance analysis, rollings, and drawdown, and last page being the disclaimer. Let's say you want to add something, we have also provided you with the master slide as well. You simply have to generate the master slide onto the platform. And then let's say you want to add something, we have also provided you with a feature called screenshot. So let's say if you want to take a screenshot for the scenario analysis, wherein you can check how did the portfolio perform in any of the past event versus to that of the benchmark, you can simply click on this screenshot icon. And once this gets saved on your system, you can definitely input the image in the PPT. So adding and removing of the slides is available in PPT as a reporting option. Other than PDF and PPT, you can also share a desktop friendly link with your client, wherein you can click on the share link option. This link remains active for 7 number of days. You can reduce the number of days, but maximum would be 7. You can definitely click on create. And once the link gets generated, you simply have to copy and paste it onto the URL. This is something that you can share it across to your client over WhatsApp. And all of the tabs that you are able to see onto the platform is something that they would be able to see only for their particular portfolio. And again, this will also come up with co-branding. So instead of NGEN Markets, you would be able to see your company name and logo. Other than providing a desktop friendly link, we also have a mobile link as well. So wherein we have this feature called client link, wherein we have a connection with, or you can send it through WhatsApp. You just simply have to generate a pin and then you click on create client link. As soon as you click on create client link, you will see that there is a WhatsApp icon right here. You simply have to input the number and just click on send, and it will be sent across to the registered number or the number that you have input right here. So that was all for the topic related discussion. The forum is now open for a Q&A session.
Guru from Chennai, I have a question here.
Yes, sir.
In the PPT slides which you have shown, after all this research analysis has been done across, it can be prepared as a PPT.
Yes,
And
correct.
I can also choose which are all the slides can be sent to the customers, right?
Yes, so that is correct. So you will get an
Here is
option
the
right
option.
here.
Okay, got it. Fine. One more request I have.
Yes, sir.
See, there is too much of a detail you are providing across for people like me. It takes time for me to understand all those things. Until such time, after every webinar, will you be sharing the link to us of the
The
webinar
thing is,
recorded?
after every webinar, you would be able to see the recorded webinar in our YouTube channel. So
Okay,
let's say this particular webinar will be uploaded by next week. So we already have a playlist that is being created with name as webinar. So you would be able to see all of the past recording right here in this playlist.
fantastic. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ashi, hi, this is Vaibhav.
Yes, hi, sir.
So, quick question. In fact, you incidentally answered the question that I was going to ask. This training is actually fairly detailed and very, very comprehensive. Now, what happens is we are not, and because you do this on an ongoing basis, and we don't really do this on an ongoing basis, we are not able to, keep pace with what you're saying. So we need to revisit this training. In the past also, I had kind of given that feedback. Are all Friday trainings religiously uploaded on your YouTube link?
Yes, sir. It is done every single week.
I think we may have, because we try to look for one particular module, one particular Friday's training on YouTube,
Okay.
and we just could not find it. So
Can you name it?
I don't remember now. It was 2 or 3 weeks back. But
Okay.
if you assure me it's there, then we'll probably look at it again. I just wanted that assurance that it's definitely going to be there on YouTube.
Yes, sir, all of the webinars definitely do get released on our YouTube channel. But in case if you need any one-on-one training session, you can definitely reach out to us for that as well. But yes, they do get uploaded on the YouTube channel on a regular basis.
Great. And so thank you so much for that. One question that I have is, see, NGEN Markets is, and even your pro version is something which is constantly evolving, right? So do you release like a release note, like one of our other
Yes.
software providers releases a note once in a fortnight or once in a month saying that, these are all the updates that have taken
Yes.
place. So do
Yes,
you
sir.
guys, I haven't seen a single email like that, that these are
We
the new
do
features which are
send,
added.
yes, we do send a bulk email. You would be required to search it on communication@engineresearch.com on your registered mail ID. You would be able to find what all are the latest update. The details are right there.
ठीक है, maybe I will speak to someone to have it sent to me again, because I don't think till date we've received a single email saying that, these are the various updates.
Yeah, sure, we can resend it to you, but yes, bulk email is something that we do send once there is any kind of update.
Understood. Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I have one request.
Yes, sir.
Earlier, we used to get the performance on email, but now I think it has been stopped. So mutual fund performance, if you can, restart that, email.
So the thing is, due to some restriction of anti-spamming by the Microsoft, that is the reason we have currently stopped, that is suspended for a while. But these are anytime available onto your login. So in the report section, which is under the Funds tab, you can anytime download the Excel option. So currently, due to Microsoft's anti-spamming measure, it has been stopped for a while.
So I think, in that case, people who have opted for, you can, update a link and take a consent. So where I am coming from now, when it is coming to regularly, it is very easy for us to forward.
Yes, I completely understand. We are looking for an alternative, but currently it is suspended. You can definitely download it from your login. I'll take this as a feedback. We'll raise this up again.
So this is in which section? Reports.
This is, yes, in the Funds
Reports.
tab, the second last option, reports.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Is there any questions? You can just ask. Actually, there is no more questions. You can close for the day.
Okay, sure, sir. So thank you everyone for joining in. As mentioned, you can definitely visit all of the past recording on our YouTube channel. This is anytime available under the playlist name as webinar. So thank you everyone for joining in and happy weekend.